Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I even have the stream on and I didn't catch it. You are awesome. Um, we have Atomic in the house. Welcome, welcome. Um, so you missed all my wonderful discussion beforehand, but welcome everybody. It's Tuesday. It's just after a little bit before 11. Typically, I start at 11 at 10:30, um, but my visit with my mom in the hospital was a little long, so I'm running a couple minutes late. So we'll get this knocked out really quick. Um, so what I was saying was I did the scale UI and you're supposed to fix the chat box first. If you don't, this is what happens. And so because I typed scale UI 115 in there before, you hit the up arrow and that repopulates it in the chat. And then you go backspace 1, 2, 3, and you just go 85, boom. Okay. Because I clicked away and was doing other stuff, it wasn't perfect. So you just type it again, /scale UI, space, boom. Now you fix it. Up arrow, there it is. Backspace, 115, boom. Now we're back where we were. And to answer to your question, sir, thank you for asking, Atomic. She's doing much better. She's excited because she gets to come home Friday. She's actually not in an official hospital. She's in a rehabilitation center now. They've been working with her mobility and strength, getting it up to where she can wander around with the walker and stuff. So she's ready to come home. She'll be home this Friday, and so she's excited for that. So thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Um, I do have a new. Let me make sure it worked. I did. So got some new stuff for those of you who are interested in using up your Sven Zone particles. Watch live pretty much any stream I do. I'll check below for the schedule. On my Twitch page, I've got it all listed there. And anytime you see me live, you can. There's one of them called Sven Silly. I had 12 before. I added several things, and then I have a couple ones up toward the front, 18, 19, and 20. I mean down toward the bottom, where you can roll twice. I pick, roll twice. You pick, or double the amount of time I have to roll. I have to hold it. And there you go. So Atomic has redeemed the Sven silliness. Uh, there's also things you can do to make me talk. There's also a way to pick. So you get to pick anything from this list besides 18, 19, and 20. Um, actually, I will even let you pick 18, 19 if you pay for it. So I know Atomic, for example, allows you to mess with him as well. Pick what game he wants, or pick the hero, wear a hat, music interludes, stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. One of the reasons I watch him. Um, but I do feel guilty a lot of times making him wear hats or do stuff. So I try not to overdo it. But that's what they're there for. So I'm telling you, as a streamer myself, Sven's own particles are there. Feel free to use them. Um, So let's just, without further ado, let's do this 20 sider. I usually do it live, but you can't see what I roll. So since I've got the table up anyway, we'll just give it a shot and see. A 2, the Red Ninja Mask. So I have not worn this one yet. Let me show you guys what that is. So I have two masks, as you can see, two ninja masks. One is a dragon ninja mask. And then the one he rolled is the red ninja mask. The cool thing about the red ninja mask that is not true about the dragon mask is that it lights up. Ooh, there's cool lights on it. All right, so let me find my timer. All right, I presume you guys can still hear me okay. I'll check in just a moment. Gotta get my timer going. 15 minutes, start. All right, there you go. The red ninja mask is part of spin silliness. So again, there you go. As I fill it up, the cool thing is anytime I have fancy grounds open, it doesn't have to be, I can put in any number here. So for example, /DIE space 1D23. And it'll roll a random number between 1 and 23. So as I get more things, more masks, more hats and ears and bow ties and such, I can still maintain it. Yep, I can hear you. Ooh, it's a cool sword. I like that sword. 2020 celebrate. Oh, it's not a sword. It's a like a popper. Okay, gotcha. It looks like a sword to me. I like it. Anyway, so just want to let you know that exists. I have that now. All right, so in this campaign, you can tell from the background, this is the one I don't stream. One of the players did not want me to stream it, so in respect for them, we don't stream. All the other players you guys have seen and know from my Wednesday campaign that I do on Wednesday nights. This month is a little different. Typically, I have a Wednesday campaign from 7 to 10. It's called my Nashkel Homebrew campaign. Check it out on the Used and the Tubes. Except for the second Wednesday of every month, I then do a different campaign, which is this one. And this month, November 2021, we flopped. So last week, which was the second Wednesday, we did the Nashkel. The other 3 weeks, we are doing this campaign. So this one, it doesn't look like my moderator is in the chat, so I can say it. This one is actually Out of the Abyss. They don't know that yet. It's an older campaign setting for D&D 5e. It's a lot of work. It's a very difficult to start with, especially, and then as you're going along, it's sort of an open-ended, sandboxy type, but worse than a normal sandbox in that the characters don't know where they are. A sandbox setting is simply like my Nashville homebrew, where you throw them in this area and say, okay, what do you want to do? And you can do anything you want. Most campaigns have a very clear storyline, and so you're following the storyline in its path. A sandbox allows you to just do anything you want to in that sandbox. That's why it's called that. Anyway, the problem with Out of the Abyss is what I do, and I have run this. This will be my 4th time because I love it. It's one of my favorite things to run, but I've never gotten very far. I've only gotten as far as maybe 8 or 9 sessions into it, and then due to a lot of different reasons, varying reasons, none of which had to do with the fact that they didn't like it, the different campaigns ended. So this time, fingers crossed, we're going to be progressing through the campaign a little bit more. And I'm starting to get into the part of the campaign that I haven't run yet. So it'll be interesting to see how it progresses as we go from there. But the concept is, the way I run it, the way it's written, they wake up in a jail cell. And there are 12 or 13 other NPCs jailed in the jail with them. And then they end up having to break out. One of the reasons I mentioned this is so hard is because you have 12 or 15 NPCs, non-player character, people with them, captives with them. And so if you're not careful, you can end up having to run these guys because they escape with you. Well, um, I started off a little different with my Out of the Abyss campaign. I started like a normal campaign above ground. They have no idea what's happening. They have no idea they're going to be part of an Out of the Abyss campaign. Typically, I try to do it that way. And the three of the 4 times I've done it, they've gone to into a blacksmith, and as they're talking to the blacksmith like they normally would to buy stuff, then the brother comes in saying, I mean, the sister comes in saying, "Hey, my brother and I were bringing back the load for this blacksmith. We got attacked. Please go bring him back. He's just down the road a little piece." They run down there. They see where the wagon is, but the brother's not there, and they follow the blood trail, and they get ambushed by these drow, and darkness surrounds these level 1 players, and they're covered in darkness. They get hit by these darts, and they collapse. And then they have these different visions that they wake up at different times. One of them wakes up and sees that he's in the back of a wagon, and he sees this big glowing cavern that's full of, they're in a huge cavern with magma underground, and the sulfur, and it's just killing his eyes and such. And then he falls back asleep. Another one wakes up, and there's this huge dinosaur-looking creature, behemoth, with these baskets attached to it, and these little gnome guys sitting in the baskets. And as he wakes up and he sees through the bars of this wagon that he's in, prison transport he's in, he sees this huge creature next to him, and as the creature sort of turns its head and looks at him, he falls asleep again. Things like that. And every character has their own little vision thing that they wake up and they see. Then they wake up and they're in the cell, but there's only a couple of their NPCs right now, and not even every one of the players is there. So a couple of them wake up, and the concept, what's happening is these drow captors keep them magically asleep and or drugged, because some elves and gnomes resist can't be put to sleep magically, so they give them drugs to do it. And there's a drow poison that puts them to sleep too. So they use these to keep them under. Being in the Underdark, they're underground in these caverns, so they have no idea what time it is. They have no idea what day it is. They don't know how long they've been traveling. They've been traveling for 4 days, by the way. It takes them 4 days to get there, but they're drugged the whole time, and so they don't try to escape. They're woken up and made to do these menial tasks like cleaning chamber pots, cleaning rooms, preparing food, stuff like that, and then they're put back to sleep. So, and not all of them are awake at the same time and stuff like that. So it makes it really difficult for the players to have any idea what's going on, where they are, how are they going to get out, that type of thing. They're really disoriented, and that's how I start this whole thing. At this point, we're going to jump ahead. If you're curious, I'll be glad to go over it some more sometime. Maybe I'll take a whole day or whole show. Leave comments and stuff. I'll be glad to go over my Out of the Abyss and how I run it. I have several of the NPCs die. one of the player characters gets sold as a slave, which is what they're eventually going to be doing, why they're captured in the first place, is these drow are going to sell them as slaves. That happens to one of them, and how they get back from that, and how that works, and stuff like that. So I'll be glad to go over all the details and the storyline I have built for that. It's pretty cool. And because I've done it so many times now, I've got it down to a science. And I think personally, as a GM, it's a lot of fun. I think the characters seem to really enjoy it as well. Since we're doing this once a month, they look forward to this second week when we play. So, but the point is now they've escaped. But even though they've escaped, they have no idea where they are. They have a couple people with them who live in the Underdark. One's a fish guy and one's a mushroom. And the fish guy knows a little bit about the terrain and the geography of the underground, but even he doesn't know where he is. So they've just been wandering. And of course, as they escape, their captors, these drow elves, dark elves, start chasing them. So they're being pursued the whole time as they're running through this cave network underground. No idea where they're going. And as they travel, there's no sunlight, there's no sense of time. They don't know. They go until they get tired. They sleep until they're not tired as much anymore. And then travel again until they get tired, sleep again. So it's really confusing to the players. I keep track of all that in the Fantasy Grounds calendar. So this normally the calendar is open to my players, so they can look back and see pretty much through the whole campaign what they've been doing and where they've been to remind themselves. In this particular campaign, this date hasn't moved for them at all. But for me, I'm keeping track. They've actually been. It started on the 18th of Kythorn. There are 10 days. Each week is 10 days. So there's now been 20 days that they've been doing this campaign. We're on the 19th day right now. But again, they have no idea what that's like. And what I do is I have my storyline all set up in the calendar with timelines, 12:30, 10:50, and then as they play, normally with the message of the day, which you can, I know I'm clicking a lot of buttons, so I'm going too fast. Leave comments, and I'll be glad to show you where I pulled up those things. Comments of the message of the day is here in options, up here in this top right corner, and it allows you when the player logs in, this pops up in the middle of their screen. They have to close it to move on before they can even pick their character. The problem is a lot of them don't read it, but I've talked about that before, ways I get around that. The point is, I then tell them here, you have been traveling for about 3 hours since your last long rest. Normally, I would put the date and the time from the calendar so they know what's going on. So they've now finally gotten close. They're trying to, I'm looking for a map. Sven's Underdark, here we go. So I've in the process of taking a map from, if you look at, here we go, boom, boom. So we'll get rid of these. Put this on top. And boom. What am I missing? Oh, symbols. That's why it's not on top. For some reason it doesn't want to move. Let's see. There we go. That's why, because I put it in I'm putting it in the folder, and I don't want it to be in the folder. All right, so we'll do it the other way around. Then we'll take and we'll move the folder, close it, down below here. There we go. We'll do it that way. All right. Anyway, so this is the map that comes with the module, and you have this. And what I've done is I'm in the process of recreating it so that this is the second map. Similar thing. Here's the party right there. That's their party symbol. Now that there we go. Boom. DM Sword Coast needs to come out of there. All right, so there we go. So this is the map I've made. So the point is they have now, that means 15 minutes is up. Dismiss. Thank you for redeeming the mask. The Sven silliness, let me turn it off. Save the batteries for next time. Blood trails are never a good sign. And what I did was I've also pinned it so I know what they are. But the point is they are now on the edge of the. This actually needs to be corrected. Let's see, where is the party PNG? We go to our layers and make sure it says layer select. Click and drag it. So they're now here, and they're actually moving closer to Sloopladop. They're in the middle of a fight. Actually, I'll put them back one more. Zoom in. Control Z. There we go. All right. So what I was trying to say is they have now. They're very close to knowing where they are, what day it is, all that type of thing. Because when they hit the Dark Lake, by the way, this needs to be moved back up where it was. There we go. So all of my symbols are on top again. One of the fishman that's with them, he knows the edge of the Dark Lake pretty well, at least this side of it, the eastern side of it. And so as soon as they hit it, he's like, okay, this is a Dark Lake. We go to the right, and we'll hit Sloopladop. So now they have a little bit of an idea. They don't have a map personally yet, but at least one person in their party has an idea of what's going on. And they don't think to ask about things like what day is it or what time is it, that type of thing. So that is where the group is right now. You hold Control, left click, you can resize the map. Oh, if you're in play mode. There you go. All right, so it says, yeah, we need to update the message of the day. This is where they were. This is a map I'm tweaked. That was the last fight they had. And you zoom in, you can see the little wavy lines over the magma. and the smoke, all that happiness. But right now we are in, so this is the 5th day. We need to go to the 6th day. Flame rule the 6th. All right, and so you can see here, it says they wake up during rest, did some underdark travel. They finally arrived at the Dark Lake as they're hungry and they stopped for lunch, so they took a short rest here. And then after eating, they head towards Lupludop. And then there's a fight. So they have been awake. At 12:30, they have the first encounter with the Kuatoa. Kuatoa are the fish people. So yes, they are the fish guy, Kuatoa, traveling with them, and they're attacked by a group of Kuatoa. And what they do is their purpose in life is to sacrifice them to this new deity that they're worshiping. What's going to happen is when the party is captured, they're then going to take them up as prisoners, and then another group of Kuatoa that's opposed to this first group is going to rescue them. So let's see. So they woke up at 4:40 in the morning, fought the Magma people. So it's now 12:30. So it's been 8.5 hours. 8 hours since they were about 8 hours since your long rest. We will get rid of this image since they don't need that one anymore. And they continue walking toward. Copying and pasting it. All right, so you finally arrive at the Dark Lake. And stop for lunch. We will get rid of this. After eating, they head towards Looploop and are attacked by a band of Kuotoa. So here's the map, which I add to the message of the day. So the point of message of the day is to remind the players. I use it. Some DMs just put links in there or just use it as a general thing. I change it every game session to remind them what happened the session before. Because for some, especially with this campaign, it's been a month since they played it. So it reminds them, that type of thing. Here is. All right, so this is where they are. So this is what the players see right now. This is a map that I made here. If you go back a couple weeks, you can see, go to the playlist of D&D prep. I just realized that I once again forgot to change the title. This is actually, Here it is, prepping for D&D, using Fantasy Grounds 52. So it's probably about 49, 50 is when this was, when I made these maps. So if you're curious about it, check it out. Feel free to ask questions. There we go. Now it's the right name. And so if you want to see what that looks like, let's take a look. We'll turn off the player preview, turn off, there we go. So we've got this map here with the wavy ocean, dark lake and stuff. And the reason it looks like this is because one of the players has a green flame blade mace. Or not flame blade, but a green flame mace. So it shines a green light around him. So that's green. And then this is the other map. And again, if you look at the line of sight, click up here, little bricks, you can see, they don't see the rest, all the rest of this stuff over here. Again, this is a little different. The coastline is waves, whereas the coastline down here they're at now is just gravel. So it's different, slightly different location, different floor from where they are from location to location. This is more dirt, more dirt and gravel and stuff, whereas this is more stone, the one above it. Anyway, that's where they are. They're then going to be saved up in the one above it, and they're going to go to the city of Sloopladop. Let me, okay, good. It's back where it was. All right. You thought you were going to get to watch the intro again. Sadly, no. Shout out to Drake Takes, who made it. And he's changed his Patreon, so you can join him on his Patreon page, and he can make those videos for yourself. So if any of you are streamers and want intro videos or outro videos, he does them. And does a pretty dang good job. He also has a friend, which is my friend as well, who does the music. So it's all handcrafted music just for you. Anyway, so I'm just finishing up the message today. So the whole point was to open up the map, zoom it in the way I want it to be zoomed, and then place it here. As I break Fantasy Grounds? Okay, so we zoom in to the scene of the fight. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to turn back on the player preview. There we go. So that's what they see. And then I take and I drag it from here. Bloop. Because it is identified, they see it as this title. If you want to change it, you can click unidentified and put the new title here. All right, almost to Sloopladop. All right, so they're going to go to Sloopladop. And that's what I was looking at. Let's see. All right, so here's the gate. Let's see, go to the map. Here it is. All right, ready? Hold on to your hats here, folks. Here is the player map. So what I did last time, might have been last week, if you want to look at 51, is I add a line of sight to these things, because if you look at the line of sight, all these green things, none of the green things were there. And what these are, this map itself didn't have any line of sight. So I put a wall around it, made these windows um, so they can't pass through it. Because what these are is these are big gates or walls made of webs, nets and other sharp pointy bits and things. The point is they can't pass through them, but they can see through them. So that's why they're windows. And then you have the actual gate they walk through. So I put the line of sight on it. I added the wavy water to the dark lake, made it wavy, and added some light as well. So if we turn on enable lighting, you can see I added these lanterns. Typically, the fish people have dark vision, so they don't need light to see. But is you can't see color unless you have actual light. The dark vision is just shades of gray. Insert joke here. I'll wait. So I put lanterns, one along these docks, so that they're actual lanterns. See, it's an actual lantern symbol token. Anyway, I put the lantern there so they can, and I put these type of oil lamps, like genie lamps, around these. So as you're traveling the dark lake, way off in the distance, you see these lights, and you can see, oh, there's Lupulidop. So that's all set. Now what I want to do is I want to go through and check out these different scenarios. Open up the encounter. All right, so these are not placed. So that's what I'm doing now. Going in, we're zooming in. So if you read it, it says, we'll turn this off. Shrink it down just a bit. We don't need that much of the map. So it says it's enclosed by outer walls of heavy netting. Hold on a minute. Is this actually north points that way? All right, so the cool thing about Fantasy Grounds Unity is I can just do this. Let's see if it will work. Go here. I don't remember. So I select this, I select it, go to layer mode, select the whole layer, and then we're going to turn it. So north points up. There we go. So now the question is, let's take a look at my line of sight. It didn't. Let's see, can I turn these layers? Let's see, layer, click, 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 water, click, click, lights, click, click. Whatever that is, click, click. Did it work? It did not. All right. All right, well. So in this particular case, so had I caught it earlier that this map was oriented wrong, I don't know why it's so difficult for some map makers when they draw it. North should always be up. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to simply do this. I'm going to change it in the story. So they're supposed to be here. So it says Sloop adoption enclosed to the east and west by outer walls of heavy netting. Okay. In the middle of each gate of each wall is a gate. Any creature wishing to crawl through the netting can do so, etc., etc. We don't care about that. Stationed outside each gate are 4 Kuatoa whips. They confront anyone who approaches. Okay. So, we need to add these to, we go to our line of sight. Here's our gate. Here's our encounter. And all you do, make sure you can see the grid, and then you can just slap these guys. Boop. Boop. I'm actually going to move him here. In play mode. Boop. Boopity boop. Actually, I'm going to move these, shift them over a little bit. Like that. So they're just there. They're watching. Being guards. Talking to each other. Next is the docks. All right, so we'll zoom out. Close. Move this over. Keel bolts are moored here. Party members can try to steal some of the boats. Okay, of course they'll be pursued if they do. But again, a huge demon prince is going to come rising up out of the water. So most of this stuff is just those one-offs when you have weird parties who just do stuff that don't follow the storyline. 5 groups of 3 Kuatoa monitors patrol the platforms. They ensure no vessel enters or leaves to determine if crew's actions are pleasing to the god of the hour, in this case, the Deep Father. All right, so here's the monitor and the whip. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 dock. I'm going to say they're not going to be on these 2. So I'm actually going to say they're not going to be on in these 4 because that's where all the action starts. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say they're going to be one of those 5 docks, one of the outer docks. Because they really shouldn't be part of this whole thing. When it comes down, actually, it doesn't really matter. Let's just roll. Let's just see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because like I said, what's going to happen is they're going to get in the middle of a fight. Hello, Mrs. Inlu. 37, 28, 42. Yeah, messing me up as I'm counting. Welcome, Zinlu. You missed it. Atomic paid for Sven Silliness, and I was wearing a ninja mask with lights on it and stuff. It was pretty cool. Check out Zinlu. He does things like Satisfactory, City Heroes. Games you don't see a whole lot of other streamers streaming, which is one of the reasons I like him and one of the reasons I follow him. So check him out. All right, so we're gonna throw these Kuatoa guards. So like I said, what's gonna happen is they're captured. They're in the middle of the fight now where they're gonna get captured. And they're gonna say that they're going to be sacrifices to this deity called the Deep Father. Then they're going to get rescued. The dude rescuing them is going to say, hey, let's pretend I'm taking you in as his sacrifice so that you can take over the priestess and stop her from sacrificing more people. So they're going to be brought in as sacrifices, quote unquote, tied up loosely so that they can escape the bonds easily. Brought to the center of the town here, you can see right here. And then they're going to be drugged closer to this one down here. Then they're going to break free, start to fight. Then this huge demon prince, 20 feet high demon prince, is going to come rising up out of the water and just throw everybody into chaos. And they're going to, in theory, they're going to run. If they don't, they'll die. Simple as that. And let me show you real quick, because it's a cool one. Assets. No, library. So as I'm getting ready to wind up here, folks, sorry to hear you have to do the surgery. I know you had mentioned you were going to be able to get the bridges. But it looks like you're now going to have to get oral surgery as well before you can get your bridges. Sorry to hear that, Zinu, but hey, just think. When you're all done, you'll be ready to go. Ready to munch on that corn on the cob and the tough steak. Looking for my Out of the Abyss. Maps, supplements. Okay, you're killing me here, folks. I know people at home are pointing at the screen. There it is, right there, right there. There it is. Boom. Adventure. See, I'm not reading. Gonna go to the images. Cover. See, I would show you the book, but the book and my camera doesn't always behave. So this is a sucker that's going to come rising up out of the water. That is the Deep Father that they've been worshiping unbeknownst to them. They didn't know exactly what it was. They were just screwing with their heads. He is a demon prince, very powerful, kick butt individual. Not something you want to mess with. There we go. So that's going to come rising out of the water, throw everybody into chaos. The group should then flee. Should. So the point is, if they're facing an unbeatable fight, it doesn't matter because the fight's not going to be finished. So we're going to put these guys over here, the Koatoa monitors. With the whip up here. Okay. And we're going to throw these here, clickety clickety, so that I have the link for it. All right. So this is where it is, and so if you thought Sloopladop was weird, that is just the beginning of the weird names. There's the Great Sea Mother, Bliplul Pooldope, Blibdool, Poolp. Blipdual pool. There's her there's a shrine attendant named Gluglugog. There's who is the son of Pluplupleen, the archpriest of the Sea Mother. So these Kuatoa love their weird names. All right, and the Kuatoa who is currently with them right now, his name is Shushar. So he has about the most boring name of the Kuatoa, the fish people. All right, so I will end with a quick picture. I've been talking about them a lot. Here's your Kuatoa people. There you go. Just think if Boss Nass had more teeth and went on a big diet, then that's what they would be. That's what the Kuatoa are. All right, folks. Well, hey, thank you for hanging out with me today. Tomorrow, 10:30, we're going to be doing some Starfinder action. So if you want to use up your Sven Zone particles, come check by 10:30, and you can use them up there. Like I said, you can't watch this, but you can see other ones. Look at the other prepping for D&D videos. If you want to see more of map building and things, I've been doing a lot of that lately, creating the maps from scratch. I've also been taking, like the last couple times, I took the map you saw there and then added to it, added light, line of sight, all those things. If you ever have any questions, if you have any kind of suggestions you want for the stream, leave in the comments below on YouTube. I always respond to all the comments I get that are legitimate. Like, subscribe, and whatever else you do, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, Atomic Zinlu. Enjoy your days, guys. And as Atomic does, a little peace sign when he signs out.